Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we are back on our 1970 Dodge Challenger that we have affectionately called Stitches because we are stitching this car back together again from a junkyard rusted out Hulk to a really nice shiny polished metal miracle. Today we're back on the roof project that we've been working on. We've got the roof banged back out, got it pretty well roughed in, we got it rust treated, but we need to deal with our roof bow. It's not a Luke. It's a bow, I promise. It's rusty and it's bent, and the glue is all gone that's supposed to hold it to help support the roof. And well, we just got stuff to do. So let's not go anywhere. Let's enjoy the show intro. It takes 5 seconds. I'll see you on the other side. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
Bow is just a little bent, and I'm sure Luke would be too if he had a car sitting on top of him, crushing him the way this did. So we've got a job of work to kind of get out the twists and get out the shouts and all the other stuff that we need to do to get this straightened out. So we're going to get after this. Going to kind of do a visual on it first, I think, and kind of bend it into place. Get it close, then we'll get the rust off of it, we'll get it rust conditioned, and then we'll start doing the final fitment and cleanup that we need to do to get it put back into the car so that we can get the two-part epoxy that goes on here to help support the roof. That contour is now. It fits that roof like a glove. So you can see that it's nice and tight. So now what I want to do is figure out how to strengthen it so that it adds even more rigidity to the roof without showing something visible. I got some ideas. Let's take it back over to the sawhorses and see what we can come up with. Well, I have a couple of different round stocks I was considering using. This 1/4 inch, I only have about 2 feet left. I used it for something else. It seems like we used it on the Oakland for something. And we have this 3/8 stock, which I think is too big, but it does have a lot more rigidity. What I'm thinking of doing is using the 3/8 stock and just modifying the roof bow just a little teeny bit to accommodate it. So I got to think about that a bit. I don't need it necessarily to go all the way to the end. I just want it to bring rigidity into the middle of this. So I know that what's happening right now is as I clamp this down, it's actually pulling the roof bow. But I think what I want to do is take this piece that I got here and determine what length I want and try to make it contour properly and then see just exactly if it is too thick or not. I'm thinking it may not be, or with just a little minor modification. And I have enough that if I want to, I can actually do 2 pieces, one on each side. And I kind of like that idea. But I need to cogitate on that for a minute. So let me do some calculating, and then I'll come back to you once I know exactly what I'm doing. I also want to apologize for all the noise in here today. My voice is probably not coming through as clear as it might because the heaters are going. It is super, super cold out right now, which is why I'm not painting that truck today. It's supposed to warm up in a few days, so if it does, I'm going to try to get that truck painted. But today I thought I had a little time, and this is what I would work on. So let me do some measuring and cogitating, and I'll be right back. I'm really liking the way these are working. I've got them matching the contour of the roof perfectly. I'll take you over there in a minute, show you a couple concerns. But I really want to get this piece done, um, rust conditioned, cleaned up, obviously, rust conditioned and painted today. That's my goal. And like I said, these two pieces are fitting nicely. And once we get this cleaned up, we'll be able to tack weld those in there and get it right. And but the concern over on the car, I'll take you over there. The problem we've got is this dent right here, which is that dent on the other side we've been talking about, is interfering with that roof bow. So I may be able to work this edge out, but I don't know what that's going to do to the rest of the roof, but I've got to. I don't have any choice. I've got to get this right. So it's part of the reason I wanted to get on this is to see how what I'm doing in here affects what's going on out there and vice versa. Of course, we've got to get this all cleaned up in here as well, but we've got to make new ends for the roof bow. But today's goal is to get that roof bow reinforced, painted, and ready to install. And then, of course, at another time, we will get the roof ready to install it. So, one little bite at a time is what I'm trying to do. Most of you know I don't wear gloves very often, but channel viewer John sent me these and they just saved my bacon. The wire wheel, if you saw it in the time lapse, the wire wheel caught here and ripped right into here on my hand. And if it wasn't for these gloves, I would probably be missing about 3 layers of skin and there'd be blood everywhere. So thanks, buddy. You saved my bacon with that one. And it was just a little, things telling me, you better put some gloves on when you're doing this or you're going to shred yourself. And I actually listened for once and saved myself some really dramatic video footage. Apparently I'm out of the sprayable, so we're going to go ahead and use the stuff that we used on the roof. Of course, it would be helpful if you had a brush that would actually spray and spread. I'll be right back. Missed a spot. I got to get that one there. But otherwise, we're in good shape. I just got to wait for that to dry now. Once that turns black, we'll be able to spray that with something. But I may go ahead and weld my bars in before I spray it. I think that makes sense. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish today, is to get the braces put in and get things finalized. It's caved this way, so we do need to do some hammer and dolly work in there. Probably need to get that done before we weld it. So what I'm going to do is take this over in front of the heater, put it in my little drying area and let it dry, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. It takes about 20 minutes for this stuff to dry. So there we go. She's drying, and we'll be back in just after a brief word from our sponsor. It's just a few minutes later and everything's dry. I like the way this is looking. Now I want to take and get this hammer and dolly work done in here. These are just sitting in place right now, but I like the way they're fitting, even if they do hold this down, which I don't think they're going to once I get it welded. But even if they do hold that roof bow down just a microscope lower from the roof than factory, we'll have enough room to put some, got some wet stuff there yet, to put some good glue in there and get things firmed right up. So I'm really pleased with the way this is going. And the main concern here, of course, is that this roof bow is not bowing. Boing, 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 boing. All right, so let's do a little hammer and dolly work, get that flattened out in there, and then see where we end up. And there we go, all tack welded in. My camera battery was dying, so I had to charge, and I couldn't show you welding, but you've seen me weld a million times before. I think the way I'm going to do this, once we have this fitted properly to the car, I will go ahead and put a bead of that glue stuff in here along several places, then that up into the roof of the car, and then attach it on both ends. I will make sure that I have the attachment points rebuilt so that all I have to do is slip it up in place and have it ready to weld in place. And then we'll have it welded on the ends like factory, glued in the middle like factory, and everything should be good to go. I do see we got a little thing there, but it's no problem if I need to grind that down on the end there a little bit. But I think just those tacks are going to be more than enough with this being glued and just the pressure of it. So the main thing is the welds are just to keep that from flexing, and I think that's going to do a good job. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot this with some paint, and we'll let that dry, and then we'll go from there. There we have it, forced drying it in front of the heat. That's going to take a long time. So I actually have a Zoom meeting I need to go do, and we'll come back out in a couple hours and show you what we've got once that's had an opportunity to dry. Well, I think it looks good, and it's a way to do some reinforcement while still hiding it, and yeah, pretty cool, I think. And just like that, paint is still a little tacky, but that's okay. I'm tacky too. But I think it looks good. It does have a little twist to it, but that's not going to be a problem at all. I'm not going to flip it, but we'll definitely turn it up so you can see the backside. Looks good. We'll have a little bit of dressing to do on the very ends where the rod might interfere with the roof. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. So we'll let that dry for today, and that'll be the end of this one. I do appreciate you being here. If you would like, subscribe, share the videos, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your fellow countrymen, lend them your ears, whatever it takes. Just spread the word about the channel. We're growing like crazy, and I'm loving it. Thanks for spending the day here in the shop, taking another bite out of our projects. We will catch you on the next one. I promise.
Yeah.